You owe Julian an apology. That's the first thing she says when I walk in. No hello, no smile, just that. I'm still in my work boots, 12 hours on my feet, and she's already ready for war. I see it again in my head, his hand on her lower back at the barbecue, sitting there like he was staking a claim on what's mine. You're paranoid, Calder. It was nothing. You should get help. That word help, like I'm some broken thing she's fixing, cuts deeper than anything. I don't yell. I don't move. I just stare at her and feel the air go cold inside me. An apology? I ask. She nods, certain she's in control. Fine, I say. I'll apologize. She smiles, thinking she won. She has no idea what I mean. If you've ever felt that silence before a storm, hit subscribe and comment, I know that feeling. The next part, you'll want to hear it. Salem drizzles, a gray film on everything. I turn onto our street. High school flags slap the poles, red and white, tired. Our brown wood house glows like a showroom, porch light on a timer, hedges squared, the kind of neat that hides. I set my lunchbox on the counter. The click echoes. TV murmurs to nobody. Ava crosses the hall in a soft sweater, phone in hand, eyes sliding past me like I'm a coat rack. No, how was your day? The fridge hums. Somewhere a dog gives up on barking. Coffee rings I didn't leave. A second mug in the sink. That lemon-clean smell she uses when she's nervous. It lands slow, then all at once. This isn't home. It's a set. Photos, couch, the jar of matches, props. The role written for me. Be calm, be nice, be wrong. I stand there and feel that old Midwest instinct. Swallow it, fix it, move on. But something colder threads my spine. I'm not here to play a part. She pauses at the doorway, thumb resting on her screen, and finally looks at me. Clinical, distant, like a nurse about to deliver a diagnosis. You should talk to someone, Calder. The words hang sterile between us. I don't answer. I let the silence load like a spring, and I wait for what comes next. She folds her arms, steady like a lecture. You're too sensitive right now. Label 1. This jealousy? It's toxic. Label 2. Each word is a sticker pressed to my chest. Sensitive, toxic, broken. I don't snap. I file. Men my age know this drill. If you flare, you're crazy. If you're calm, you're guilty. I watch her face and hear a playlist of borrowed wisdom, podcast voices, blog phrases, terms rinsed clean of meaning and used like bleach. She softens her tone. I just want us to be healthy. The way she says healthy makes me taste metal. I picture the barbecue again, his hand on her lower back, parked there like a reserved sign, and the crowd laughing at nothing. She says I'm reading into things. I let the room go quiet until the fridge kicks on, a dull motor counting time with me. In the quiet, the word forms, blunt and exact. Gaslighting. Not a trend. A slow eraser. I tell myself 2 things. Remember everything, and don't bleed on the carpet. Her phone lights, then dies. Mine stays dark. I breathe once, deep, like I'm checking a line under load. Tomorrow will give me better proof. Tomorrow at breakfast, she'll say Julian saved her spreadsheet. I'll circle that word, saved, and follow it to where it leads. I sharpen the memory like a blade and wait for morning. Morning smells like coffee and rain. I pour 2 mugs. She takes hers, thumbs her phone, eyes brighter than the kitchen lights. Julian helped with that ugly spreadsheet, she says, casual. He saved me hours. The word sticks. Saved. I nod once, let it pass my face like weather. She keeps talking. How he jumped in, how he just gets it, how he's such a lifesaver. There it is again. Lifesaver. I watch the way her eyes lift when the screen lights, how her mouth softens before she speaks. Men my age understand tools, a wrench, a meter, a breaker. Words are tools too. Saved is not a tool, it's a signal. Saved says you were in trouble and chose who pulled you out. Saved says who you reach for without thinking. I sip the coffee and file it, same drawer as last night's labels, sensitive, toxic, unhealthy. She laughs at a text I don't see. He's just helpful, she adds. I swallow the bitter that isn't coffee. In marriage, helpful turns into essential real fast when you aren't careful. Good for him, I say. The fridge hums. Rain tick-ticks the window. She sets her cup down, screen face up, waiting to breathe again. In my head, the word blares like a siren. Saved isn't cute. It's a warning. Tonight, I'll listen for how often she needs air. Night settles heavy. The house dims until it's one small planet, the blue glow on her face. I lie still and slow my breathing. She thinks I'm asleep. A soft laugh slips out of her, the kind meant for someone close. Tap, pause, tap. The rhythm isn't random, it's a pulse. The phone breathes for her. I can hear it in the tiny sounds, the way she inhales before a reply, the way her shoulders drop into the mattress when a message lands. She's not talking to me. She's practicing closeness with a screen that carries his voice. Another laugh. Quieter this time. Private. I stare at the ceiling and count the beats like I'm reading a meter under load. Men like me know current by the sound it makes. This current isn't mine. The blue light paints her smile, a small curl that doesn't belong in our bed. I don't move. I don't ask. Interrogation turns truth into smoke. I let the moment stretch until the glow dies and the room falls back into dark. My jaw unlocks. I can name it now. Not a glitch. A pattern. She turns away and whispers, "Good night," the way roommates do. I stare into the dark and decide. Tomorrow, I won't argue. I'll observe. If the phone breathes, I'll follow the air to its source. And when I speak, it won't be guesses. It'll be oxygen shut off. I don't grab her phone. I don't turn detective at midnight. I sit with the picture I already have and let it sharpen. The barbecue first. Julian's eyes scanning the room like he owned the weather. His hand parked on Ava's lower back, steady and casual, like practice. The laugh they shared wasn't social. It was fluent. Then her counterpunch later. "You're paranoid. You need help." The clean flip where my discomfort becomes the problem, not his touch. I replay the details until they stop arguing with me. Men my age know when a motor is running hot even if the gauge lies. This is the same. It's not a fling you catch in a hotel camera. It's a slow rearranging of loyalty. It's intimacy without skin, and the bruises land deeper because nobody sees them. I set the tools on the bench in my head and label the fault line, neat and plain. Emotional cheating. There's relief in the label. Now I can measure it. Now I can follow it. It has a pattern. Private jokes, secret debriefs, little rescues, words like saved. Names give shape. Shape gives rules. Rules make a plan. I rinse my cup and let the house go quiet. If it's real, it will leave tracks. And tomorrow, I'll start stepping in them. Mara doesn't mind that we're close, Ava says at a neighbor's cookout, casual as wind. The line is slick, a perfect shield. If his wife's fine with it, then the jury rests, case closed. My discomfort is just insecurity with a ring on it. I watch couples laugh around a folding table, paper plates bending under ribs and slaw. A dad in a ball cap tells a harmless story. Smoke drifts. Somebody's kid chases a dog. Middle America on a Saturday, the kind that's supposed to be safe. I picture the reverse, me texting some woman at midnight, me grinning at my screen, me brushing another woman's back at a party. Would Calder's friend's husband doesn't mind buy me a pass? We both know the answer. Men are told to be secure, women are told men mustn't care. That's the trick. My silence gets repackaged as proof I'm okay with it. I look at Ava's phone face up on the patio table, the screen black as a closed eye. The shield works until it doesn't, until wives compare calendars, or a message lights up at the wrong time, or someone stops pretending. I pop a beer, take one slow sip, and let the neighbor's laughter cover the sound of a decision hardening. If Mara truly doesn't mind, then she won't mind the truth. And if she doesn't know, this shield isn't a shield. It's a lie waiting for a light. That night, I hear the phone breathe again. Soft, secret, like it's exhaling for both of them. Thursday night. Shower running. House dim enough to hear the pipes breathe. Her phone rattles against the counter. One short buzz, then another. The screen wakes. Jay, and a blank gray avatar like a mask. Preview line. You looked amazing today. My throat tightens in that quiet way middle-aged men understand. No drama, just pressure. I don't move at first. I listen to the steady water behind the door, the soft echo as she turns, the way she hums a tune she never hums for me. The phone buzzes again. Same initial, same blank face. I think of the cookout, his hand parked on her back like a reserved sign. I think of saved at breakfast. Labels line up like breakers in a panel. Sensitive, toxic, saved. J. The running water is cover. The blue screen is a beacon. I don't need a fight. I need clarity. I pick it up. No passcode. That's a choice, not an accident. My thumb hesitates, half a second, because once you cross, you don't go back. Another buzz. Wish I'd said that to your face. The water hisses, then pauses. She's rinsing her hair. I exhale once, slow, and open the thread. The room shrinks to my pulse and the blue-white glow. Whatever is true is about to walk out of the dark. No nudes, no come over, nothing a jury would clap for. Instead, memes only they share, recurring jokes I don't get because I was never there. Short voice notes, his laugh first, then hers, woven together in seconds that feel like hours. You get me, she writes. Always, he answers. Photos, selfies at work, not sexy, just soft, the kind you send someone who knows your schedule and your moods. The timestamps stack like bricks, coffee at 7:12, a sigh at 11:03, a made it through at 4:48. It's not a wildfire, it's a gas line, clean, constant, hidden. There's one thread about me, gentle, like handling a skittish dog. He's been distant, she says. He doesn't get it. He types what I knew he would. You don't need to explain yourself to him. I scroll slower, colder. The absence is the evidence. No lipstick on a collar. The collar is gone. In its place, curated care, quick rescues, daily check-ins, the architecture of intimacy. Not flesh, priority. It lands with a weight I can measure. She has been moving me out one text at a time. I take screenshots, timestamps, patterns, nothing loud, send them to myself. The shower shuts off. I lock the screen and set the phone where it was, face down, like a card I finally learned how to read. I don't pace. I don't rehearse speeches. I work. Screenshot. Next one, screenshot. I email the files to myself, subject line plain, house, records. I add tags in the body, dates, times, the words they kept using, saved, always, you get me. Another screenshot, another send, no emojis, no comments, just timestamps stacked like bolts in a tray. I close the thread and lock the phone. It goes dark, quiet, and innocent again. The shower shuts off. I put the phone back where it was, angle and all, face down. Then I step to the window and stand exactly how I stood before, hands on the sill, eyes on the black lawn. My pulse slows until it's steady enough to trust. Confrontation is gasoline, collection is water. Men like me fix what we can, measure what we can't. This isn't guesswork anymore. It's a circuit map. I choose the job I'm good at. Documentation. I'll build a folder, not a scene. Let her keep her lines. I'll keep dates and facts. As the bathroom fan whirs, I feel the decision settle, heavy and clean. Tomorrow I'll check the places people forget, the old shared stuff we never turned off because marriage felt permanent. If there's a cloud still sinking, it's about to rain. Morning break at work, coffee in a paper cup. I open the laptop and test a theory. The old shared cloud we used when we were still we. She never killed it. Folders bloom, auto backups, thumbnails. I click through the dull ones, whiteboards, mock-ups, then stop. Hotel carpet, a thin glass of red wine on a small round table. Caption, long day. The clock under it says 11:23 p.m. Location tag, Philadelphia. She told me it was a one-day turn and burn. I scroll. Next image, breakfast tray, pale eggs and a tiny jam, 7:12 a.m. Same hotel bedspread, same cheap lamp. Not a mistake, not a fuzzy memory. Overnight. The metadata doesn't blink, doesn't soften its voice, doesn't call me sensitive. Time tells the truth, even when people don't. I sit back in my chair and feel the floor of my stomach settle a notch lower. Another folder. Event photos, name badges. One frame catches. Group shot, business casual smiles, Julian's arm easy across her shoulders, her body leaning like it learned how. I download the set, label it. Philly, overnight, 11:23 p.m. The file name looks like a verdict. The warehouse floor polisher hums past me. Someone laughs at a joke I can't hear. I close the lid and see my face in the metal. Tonight, the printer at home will earn its keep. The folder is about to grow teeth. The printer warms, spits paper, edges still hot. I lay the conference shots flat. Booth banners, lanyards, the kind of smiles people practice. Then the frame that matters. Julian's arm across Ava's shoulders, not just resting, anchored. His thumb hooks the seam of her blazer like it knows the fabric. Her body answers back without asking. Shoulders dropped, weight tipped a degree toward him, hips squared his way, feet pointed the same direction. That's not a pose. That's muscle memory. The mouth smiles, sure, but comfort lives in the wrists and the neck. Her chin angle says safe. The space between them says claimed. I don't need a red circle or a caption. I've read Load on a Motor by the hum it makes. I can read this. I print a second copy and slide both into the folder. Philly, overnight, 11:23 p.m. Then this, body language, uncoached. I picture the barbecue again, his hand parked where a husband's hand goes, and the way she didn't flinch. Comfort can't be faked. You don't relax into a stranger. You don't lean like that unless you've leaned before. I line up the stack, square the corners, and feel the quiet get heavier. If they move like this, they sound like this. People who share a rhythm always leave a soundtrack. Time to find theirs. What I hear that night, no playlist, no music, just silence that isn't empty. It's waiting. At lunch, I open the family plan we pay for and check her profile. Recently played is clean. Podcasts, work pop. Then a shared list slides up. Work hustle vibes with a little chain link icon. I tap it. The cover is a blurry desk shot, 2 coffee cups. The description reads, "Keep us moving. Us." Tracks I've never heard in our house pulse down the screen. Late 2000s indie, a few deep-cut R&B, his guitar band nostalgia. Next to each song, tiny notes. Added by Jay, and sometimes added by Ava. The playtimes line up with their messages. 7:12 a.m., coffee. 11:03 sigh. 4:48 made it through. Lyrics about being seen, about someone pulling me out, about finding the light. I print the list, then the notes, then the times. Another artifact for the folder. It's not the music. It's the shared curation. Inside jokes baked into titles. A rhythm I don't live in. In marriage, music is either background or bond. This is bond. I lay the pages next to the Philly photos and hear the shape of it. Not scandal, structure. Their universe has rules and a theme song. Mine is the quiet house and the hum of the fridge. Good. Universes leave orbits. If I map the dates, the texts, the photos, the songs, the arc will show itself. Tonight, I build the timeline. I clear the table and build a straight line down the page. 8 months, week by week. On the left, I mark when Julian's name shows up. Texts, late mentions after dinners, quick calls about work. On the right, I mark touch. How often Ava reached for my hand during TV, how often she leaned into me at church, how often her body went still when I put an arm around her. The left column climbs, the right column thins. I add the 2 tired nights, the early morning meetings, the new playlist drops. I circle the saved days. I box the Philly overnight. By midnight, the line looks like a heart monitor that's decided which patient to prioritize. And it isn't me. Men like me don't need poetry to read a failure curve. The pattern is honest in the way people aren't. More Julian, less us. More rescue texts, fewer ordinary kindnesses. The graph says what mouths won't. Attachment migrated. I sit with it until the noise in my head stops. This isn't a story about a bad weekend. It's infrastructure. 8 months of small choices wearing one groove. I print the chart, slide it into the folder, and feel the weight shift from suspicion to fact. Facts don't yell. They don't need to. Tomorrow, I stop letting her language define mine. I'm done being labeled. I start labeling back. Morning, same kitchen, same rain. She tries gentler this time. It's emotional proximity, Calder. I nod like a mechanic listening to a bad bearing. She adds, "You don't understand me." He listens. "You can be toxic when you're stressed." I let the words pass and then look at them for what they are. Shortcuts. Proximity without boundaries. Understanding without accountability. Listening that sounds a lot like attention she no longer offers at home. Toxic, my least favorite sticker, because it ends the conversation before it starts. I'm not allergic to therapy. I'm allergic to using therapy like a fire blanket to smother guilt. Deconstruction is simple. If it's only emotional, why the hotel? If I don't understand you, why is your phone the place you feel seen? If he listens, why does my concern get relabeled as control? Her eyes harden just a touch. She hears the shift. My silence is no longer surrender, it's recording. Men like me don't need to win an argument. We need clear wiring. I rinse my mug and say nothing grand. Inside, I file the terms where they belong, under excuses. This isn't about language, it's about loyalty. She can keep her buzzwords. I'll keep timestamps. And today, while she calls it proximity, I'll finish building something you can't gaslight. Paper, ink, a spine of facts. Tonight, the folder gets a name. I clear the dining table and give the mess a spine. Manila folder. 4 tabs penciled neat across the top. Messages, photos, timeline, alibis. I print without commentary and stack in order. Texts first. Screenshots with dates circled in pencil, not ink. Ink pretends to be permanent. Pencil admits the truth doesn't need help. Then the photos. Philly at 11:23 p.m., breakfast at 7:12 a.m., the group shot where bodies tell on mouths. Next, the 8-month line that climbs for him and thins for us. Finally, alibis, calendar notes, work drinks, late review, the nights our bed went cold. I clip each section with a dull silver paper clip and write on the tab's edge, Rowan, evidence, then stop, erase Rowan, and write what it really is. Ava, Julian, truth. The folder closes with a soft slap that sounds bigger than it is. I sit back and look at it. This isn't rage. This is a tool. A breaker box for a house that's been flickering. If I flip the right switch, the performance ends. I slide the folder into a plain tote and leave it by the chair. No speeches, no threats, just paper with a memory better than mine. When people lie, they reach for volume. When paper speaks, it doesn't need to shout. I rinse my cup, kill the lights, and let the folder sit in the dark like a loaded fact. I don't call. I text. Fewer adjectives. Need to clear the air. Just us. Julian replies faster than a man with nothing to hide should. Swing by 5-ish Monday? He drops an address in West Salem. Split-level, quiet street I know by the way rain pools in the gutters. No office. No public place. His house. I stare at the screen, then at the tote by the chair. The battlefield just picked itself. See you then? I type. Period. No smile. Outside, Salem rain threads the power lines, steady and thin. I stand on the porch and let the damp soak my shirt for a minute. Men like me check load before we throw a switch. I picture the living room, the gray sectional, the diffuser that tries too hard, Mara moving through her own evening with no idea a fault line is about to show. Good. Truth deserves witnesses. My phone buzzes again, Ava asking if I'll be home for dinner. Might be late, I write, and leave it there. I slide the tote under the passenger seat. Monday at 5 isn't a conversation. It's a set piece, a room, a table, a folder, and 3 faces that will never see each other the same. I shut the door, listen to the rain drum the roof, and feel the house I live in shift under my feet. The stage is picked. Now I decide who gets a front row. Saturday looks innocent. Rain on the window, cereal bowls, the small talk couples use when they're both somewhere else. Ava rinses strawberries and starts slicing, neat quarters, knife tapping the board. By the way, she says, casual, Mara doesn't mind that Julian and I are close. The shield again. I sip coffee and let it pass. Good, I say. I'll stop by Julian's Monday. Talk it out, man to man. The knife stops midair. Not a drop, not a gasp. Just a pause, a fraction too long. She recovers fast, smile back on, a little bright. You would? She asks, voice light, shoulders lifted a hair. I nod. Might help me hear it from him. Micro tells Bloom if you watch. The tiny swallow, the grip shift on the handle, the eyes that flick to her phone like a reflex. That's mature, she says, and cuts faster than before. I rinse my mug and don't add anything for her to play against. The dog across the fence barks twice, then quits. She sets the knife down like it's heavier than steel. Men my age know the sound of a bearing when it catches. Quiet, small, final. I load the dishwasher, say nothing, and feel Monday take shape in the room between us. When I head to the dining table, she asks, "Working?" I say, "Just printing." Her thumb finds the phone. Mine finds the folder. Something has already shifted and we both heard it click. I keep the house quiet on purpose. No TV, no music, just the low hum of the fridge and the printer taking paper like a steady breath. Coffee turns cold at my elbow and stays there. I feed the machine. Texts, timestamps, photos, the 8-month line that tells its own story. Pages slide out, warm, then cool under my palm. I don't highlight. I don't underline. I stack. Square the edges. Clip. Slide into tabs. Messages. Photos. Timeline. Alibis. Silence has a weight when you choose it. It presses the noise out of a room. Every time the printer chirps, the folder grows. Another ounce of certainty. Another decibel I won't have to raise. Ava moves through the house softer than usual. Cabinets close carefully. Her phone stays screen down, which tells me enough. She asks if I need anything from the store. I say no. She lingers like she wants a fight to prove I'm unreasonable. I give her nothing. The clock hands do slow work. Outside, solemn rain files the edges off the afternoon. I swap the ink, load more paper, start on alibis, calendar blocks, late reviews, the nights when too tired matched his great talk texts. When the last page lands, I close the folder and feel the table take the load. This isn't quiet to avoid conflict, it's quiet to aim. Tomorrow is for church and chores, Monday is for truth. And truth, properly stacked, makes more noise than shouting ever did. Monday starts with rain and a mirror I don't avoid. I shave slow, breathe slower, and say it out loud so I can't walk it back. No yelling, no names, only facts. I won't perform so she can point at my rage and call that the problem. I won't give him a fire to warm his excuses. They will hear the sound of their own choices. I picture the folder on the passenger seat, a quiet engine that never stalls. I picture the living room I haven't seen yet, the way people sit when truth walks in. My hands are steady. My stomach's empty on purpose. Men my age know discipline is the one tool you can reach for in the dark. So I set rules. I speak once, plainly. I don't argue with denials. Paper does the talking. If someone begs for context, they can read. I'm not here to make them villains. I'm here to end a story that kept writing me out. I grab my jacket, the tote, and lock the door. My house doesn't protest. It knows I'm keeping it standing by turning off the wrong circuit. At the curb, the rain softens. I take one breath and keep the vow. No gasoline, only light. Next stop, his address, her eyes, and a table. The wreath on the door says autumn like a polite lie. Inside smells like orange peel from a diffuser working too hard. Gray sectional, framed wedding photos, open floor plan that hears everything. Mara steps out of the kitchen wiping her hands on a towel, scrubs under a sweater, the look of a woman who fixes real things for a living. Julian floats in with that smooth, neighborly smile. "Glad you came, Calder. Let's clear the air," he says, like we're equals in a misunderstanding. I nod once, step to the coffee table, and set the manila folder down. Soft sound. Heavy meaning. Mara's eyes clock it, then clock me. Julian stays smiling a beat too long. I take the chair across from them, not the couch. Space matters. Appreciate you having me, I say. The room tests my voice and finds it calm. No tremor. Mara sets the towel aside. Julian's hand hovers near a coaster like he needs something to touch. I slide the folder a little closer to her side. Before we talk, I say, I need us all to see the same thing. The diffuser hums. The rain taps the window. Julian inhales to start the speech he practiced. I lift a finger, just one, and open the cover. The stage is set. Now the script changes hands. I came to apologize, I say. Julian exhales like a valve releasing. His shoulders drop. The smile returns. Mara tilts her head, a half inch, listening more than looking. But not for what Ava thinks. Silence. 1, 2, 3 beats. You can hear the diffuser hum. Julian's mouth opens to deliver the speech he packed for this moment. Boundaries, misunderstandings, grown men talking things out. I don't give it oxygen. I touch the folder, steady, and keep my voice low. I'm not here to apologize for jealousy or for being unhealthy. I'm not here to make you comfortable while I swallow the parts that don't fit your story. I slide the first tab toward Mara. Messages, dates, times. The same phrases repeated like a drum line. Saved, you get me, always. No highlights, no red ink. Facts don't need makeup. Julian reaches a hand out, then thinks better of it. He sits back, smile thinning to a line. The word apology gets used to put men back in their chair, I say. Stand down, be nice, take the blame. I let it hang, then finish the reversal. I'm here to apologize, all right, so the right person hears it. Mara's eyes skim the page, then flick up to meet mine. Something changes there, focus sharpening, warmth pulling away from him like tide off a rock. Julian inhales again. The room doesn't give him air. The meaning of apologize just moved, and it's not moving back. I'm sorry, I say, not looking at Julian. I'm sorry I didn't trust myself sooner. Mara's expression shifts, soft to steel, not angry, just awake. Julian flinches, like a man who hears a latch he didn't know existed slide into place. I knew what I felt at the barbecue, I go on. I knew it when her phone started breathing for her. I knew it when words like saved and healthy were used to pin me to the wall, and I let it ride because men like me are trained to doubt our own instruments. I pushed the next tab forward. Photos. Philly at 11:23 p.m. Breakfast at 7:12 a.m. The group shot where bodies tell what mouths won't. Mara's pupils tighten. She reads like a nurse reading a chart. No drama, just data. I'm not here to accuse you of poetry, I tell Julian. I'm here with timestamps. He starts a sentence. Calder, this is out of No, I say, calm. This is context. The timeline tab lands. 8 months shrinking me, growing you. The alibis stack beside it. Ordinary words turned into a map. My apology is mine, I say, to the man who let himself be talked out of what he saw. That ends tonight. Mara doesn't reach for him. She turns another page. Julian swallows, eyes flicking to the front door like a fire exit. I sit back and let the paper breathe. Dignity isn't a speech. It's a line you stop crossing, and a line you stop letting others cross for you. I nod at the folder. Start here. Mara pulls it closer and opens to messages. Paper whispers. Her eyes move left to right, steady, no flinch. Julian reaches out like he's entitled to manage the story. She slides the folder closer to her, one small motion that redraws the map. Power shifts without a sound. She turns a page. Timestamps. Saved. Always. You get me. She follows the dates with a nurse's attention, taking a pulse. Julian tries again, fingers on the edge of the paper. She doesn't slap his hand. She doesn't need to. She just keeps reading. I sit back and let the room adjust to the new gravity. The diffuser hums, trying to make citrus cover something sour. Mara lifts one sheet toward the light like she's checking a film. Then the Photos tab. Philly, 11:23 p.m. She reads the metadata note I penciled, then the breakfast shot at 7:12 a.m. No commentary, No gasp. Just a long inhale through her nose. Julian's smile is gone. He's working on neutral. "Where did you get these?" he asks. "Where they were left," I say. She turns another page. Slow, controlled. Control that no longer belongs to him. She isn't reading to argue. She's reading to know. And the more she knows, the less he can say for her. "It wasn't like that," Julian whispers, eyes on the coffee table. I keep my voice low. "You sure you want to say that with your wife in the room?" Mara flips to the hotel series. The room answers for him. 2 glasses, late clock, morning tray. She exhales, a short, hard sound that lands like a verdict. Julian's mouth opens, closes. "Context," he tries, weak. I nod at the timestamps. "That is context." He looks at me for a lifeline I won't throw. "We were supporting each other," he says, softer, almost begging the furniture to agree. "Through the night?" I ask. No heat, just the math. Mara doesn't look up. She studies the group photo, his arm anchored on Ava's shoulder, the lean that tells on them both. Her jaw sets. She pulls the folder even closer, like a chart she needs to finish before she speaks. He reaches for her knee. She shifts, and his hand lands on air. I slide the timeline tab forward, 8 months shrinking me, growing him, and let the paper do what volume can't. Julian's voice thins to a thread. "It wasn't physical the way you think." "Then say it clean," I tell him, eyes flat. He can't. The lie sticks in his throat where the truth used to live. Mara turns one more page. The room goes quiet the way rooms do right before something breaks. The next sound won't be mine. My phone trembles on the table. Once, twice, again. Screen lights. Ava. 8 missed calls stacked like warning labels. The 9th buzz hits and hangs in the air. Julian looks at it like a lifeline. Mara doesn't look up from the page. I pick the phone up, feel its nervous little heartbeat, and press power off. Not silent mode. Off. The screen dies to black. The room fills with a new kind of quiet, the kind that tells everyone who's driving. Julian exhales through his nose. He recognizes the move. The cord she used to steer me from a distance just got cut. No more remote control. No rescue script. Mara turns another page. Slower. Steadier. The diffuser hums, trying to pass for calm and failing. My hands rest on my knees. I don't explain. I don't apologize for the choice. You don't argue with noise. You remove it. 8 months of labels and soft talk turn small when the power goes out. I look at Julian, and then at the folder, the only thing that gets to speak. He opens his mouth, but the room denies him oxygen. He's not the audience anymore. When her calls can't land here, they'll land somewhere. My small act just cleared space for the only question that matters. Mara finds it first. Mara doesn't raise her voice. She doesn't even look at him when she asks it. "Did you delete my messages when she texted you?" The word hits flat and perfect, like a nail set by a pro. Julian's throat works. No answer. The silence is cruel in the way only truth can be. She presses her lips together, a tiny fold that says she already knows. Her eyes drift past us to a point on the wall, like she's rewinding a year and watching herself disappear frame by frame. He tries to smile it away. Muscles pull. Nothing lands. "This is getting blown out of," he starts. She tilts her head, and the rest of the sentence dies. "Answer," she says. One word, no extra weight. He looks at me for help I'm not selling. He looks at the door like it might open itself. The folder waits on the table, patient as gravity. He reaches for her knee. She shifts an inch and he misses. There it is. The crack. Not the hotel, not the late-night texts. That small, honest theft. Erasing your wife to make room for someone else. You don't do that for just a friend. Mara breathes in and lets it out slow, eyes still far away. When she looks back, the room has changed sides, and he knows it. I stand. Not fast, not slow, just done. Mara keeps reading. Julian keeps drowning in air. I slide the folder a couple inches closer to her and say it for the only person here who didn't get a choice. You deserve to know what room you've been living in. No sermon, no threat. I put my hand on the doorknob. Julian half rises, a please forming that even he doesn't believe. Mara doesn't move. She lifts one more page instead. That's the verdict. I open the door. Cool hall air. The diffuser can't reach this far. Calder, he tries. I don't turn. I'm not the bailiff. I'm the man returning what was stolen. The door eases shut behind me. A second later, something soft but final cracks on the other side. A frame, a vase, maybe just the sound of a story dropping its mask. I walk to my truck without hurry. Streetlights buzz. Rain needles the windshield. I don't take the folder. It stays where it belongs. Quiet justice isn't loud, it's complete. At the curb, my phone stays dark by design. The night feels wider than it has in months. I sit a moment with my hands on the wheel and the engine off, listening to a life end without my voice. Then I turn the key and drive home. The house hits me with lemon cleaner before the door clicks shut. Ava is pacing grooves into the hardwood, eyes red, hair tied too tight. "Where were you?" she says, like the line she practiced in a mirror. I set my keys in the dish and take in the staged calm, the folded throw, the lit candle, the phone face down. "Apologizing," I say. Her chin lifts like she swallowed a win. "To Julian?" The word tastes hopeful in her mouth. "In front of Mara," I answer. The hope drains. That's the echo. Her script turned back on itself. She blinks hard, fast, rallying with the phrases I know by heart. "You misunderstood. It was emotional, not—" I hold up a hand. "Don't. Not tonight." She steps closer, palms out, selling remorse and control in one motion. "We can talk. We can fix this." I shake my head once. "Talk to Mara." The room goes still except for the hum of the fridge and our breathing. She looks at the door like it might rewind the last hour. It doesn't. "You ruined everything," she whispers. "No," I say, calm as a breaker snapping. "I stopped covering it." She flinches like the truth stung. I walk past her to the bedroom, pull the small bag I packed yesterday from the closet, and set it by the stairs. The lemon smell fades. What's left is real air. She breaks fast. Tears, shaky breath, hands out like she's calming a skittish horse. "It was emotional proximity, Calder. You've been distant. I was hurt. When you're stressed, you get toxic." Each word lands like a pre-printed label. She reaches for more. "We can do therapy, real therapy, not your—" I raise a hand. Stop. No heat. No edge. Just a hand like a lowered gate. The room pauses. "I'm not your project," I say, "and I'm not debating vocabulary." She circles back harder, voice rising. "You're twisting this. You don't understand what I needed. He just listened. He made me feel seen." I keep my tone flat. "He made you feel chosen." She blinks, stunned a second, then ramps again. "You're making me the villain for finding support. You never—" My hand lifts a second time. "We're not doing the script. Not tonight." Silence presses in. The fridge hums. The candle gutters. "Your words keep changing costumes," I say. "My facts don't." Her face crumples, tears running clean tracks through the makeup she put on for control, not beauty. She's waiting for me to explode so she can point at the explosion. I don't give it to her. "This isn't about therapy," I say. "It's about loyalty." She goes quiet, off balance without the lines. I let the quiet hold and line up the next thing, the only thing that cuts through fog. One plain question she can't decorate. I keep my voice low, steady. "If it's nothing, why are you crying like your world just collapsed?" The words land and stay. She freezes, breathing caught between syllables. Her eyes search the room for a softer angle. The couch, the candle, the photo from a vacation where we still knew how to stand next to each other. Nothing answers. "Because you're cruel," she tries. It barely clears her throat. "No," I say. "I'm clear." She swallows, once, hard. The next excuse never loads. That's the tell, when the engine of the story won't turn over. Men my age learn to trust that sound. "It wasn't physical," she whispers, falling back to the last sandbar. If it wasn't, I ask, why did Mara read it like a chart and stop looking at her husband? Silence again. not the sulking kind, the kind that moves furniture. She reaches for her phone, then thinks better of it. Her hands hang useless at her sides like she doesn't know where to put them when there's no script to hold. I don't want to fight, she says. We're not fighting, I answer. We're finishing. Her chin trembles. Pride tries to rescue what honesty already took. The house sounds honest for once. No soft music, no staged laughter, just the hum of electricity and two people out of words. Down by the stairs, my small bag waits where I left it. I don't touch it yet. I let the silence do the work it was built to do. Pull the mask free and leave the face. I walk to the stairs and pull the zipper on the small duffel I packed yesterday when the house was pretending to be fine. The sound is clean, final. Toothbrush, t-shirt, a pair of socks, charger, keys. Nothing dramatic, just what a man needs when he's done sleeping in a story that keeps changing endings. Ava watches, frozen between apology and argument. What are you doing? She asks, voice thin. I don't give her a speech. I hold up the brush like a receipt and drop it in. I fold the shirt once, square, and set it on top. Men my age know the power of ordinary motion. It leaves no handle to grab. She steps closer, like proximity could rewind tape. I zip the bag halfway, pause, then finish it slowly so the sound lands. I'll be staying somewhere else, I say. No threat, no countdown, just direction. She looks around like the room will object on her behalf. It doesn't. The house hums and stays neutral. I take the bag by the handles and feel how light it is. That's the point. You carry less when you stop hauling someone else's story. I set it by the door and breathe once, steady. I'm not running. I'm leaving. There's a difference. One is fear, the other is a line. I pick the line. She folds her arms like armor that came a minute too late. You're punishing me, she says, soft but sharp. I look at the bag, then back at her. No, I answer. Guilt isn't something you do to someone. It's the sound truth makes when it finally hits the floor. The line sits there between us, heavy and plain. She opens her mouth to bargain with words, context, proximity, hurt, but nothing climbs out. That's the quiet I was waiting for. Not winning, ending. You can't just walk out, she tries. Watch me, I say, without heat. Or don't. Either way, I'm done carrying your vocabulary for you. Her eyes shine and harden at the same time. So that's it? I shake my head. That's honest. She looks past me at the photos on the wall, the life we framed tighter than we lived. What am I supposed to do? She asks. Know what room you've been living in, I say. Decide if you can live there without a crowd. The candle gutters out, like it heard me. I lift the bag. The weight of it tells me I'm right. She takes one small step and stops. There's no script left to stand on. I turn the knob. The click is ordinary, which is perfect. I don't slam the door. Doors aren't guilty. People are. I leave the guilt where it belongs, with the truth that finally made a sound. 3rd floor, red brick, no elevator. The stairwell smells like dust and clean laundry. My door sticks a little, then gives. Inside, 1 room and a bedroom. An old armchair by the sliding glass, a thrift store table, a chipped mug that fits my hand like it remembers me. Out on the balcony, the late sun lays a soft stripe across the floor. Traffic hums low and far. The air here is cool and honest. No lemon cover, no diffuser pretending to be peace. I set the bag down, keys on the counter, shoes off. The quiet meets me without demanding a story. I make coffee in a cheap machine and watch steam rise like proof of life. Sip. Bitter, right? In the distance, someone laughs. It doesn't include me, and that's fine. I sit in the armchair and let my bones catch up. Survival has a sound. This is it. The click of the AC, the faint buzz of a streetlight warming up, the soft scrape of my breath slowing to normal. I don't call anyone. I don't check her messages. I take another sip and feel something small and stubborn open in my chest. Not joy. Room. the kind a man earns back by walking out the right door. For the first time in months, I'm not bracing. I'm resting. I don't post. No screenshots, no story time, no group chat full of smoke. I don't go for beers to rehearse a version where I'm the hero. That's noise, and noise is how you lose ground you just won. I make a list instead: rent, utilities, a spare set of sheets, a cheap lamp. Then I email David Rohn, the only lawyer in town who speaks in verbs. Consult, file, protect. He replies with a time, not a sermon. Perfect. I shave, put on a clean shirt, and gather what matters. The folder, an ID, the facts that don't need me to raise my voice. No speech in the mirror, no playlist. Anti-drama by design. The city does its Monday sounds outside. I let them pass like weather. Ava's name pops on my screen and fades again. I don't answer. There will be paperwork, not performances. In the chair, I go through my timeline once more and feel the nerves burn off like alcohol. Procedure replaces chaos. Boxes checked, dates set, accounts separated, noise removed. There's a power in small, correct steps. Each one pushes the world back into shape. When I lock the apartment and pocket the keys, there's no triumph in it. Just order. The kind men build when there's nothing left to prove and everything left to protect. Next stop, a wooden desk, a yellow pad, and signatures that say, enough. David Rohn's office smells like wood and old books. No artful quotes, no trophies, just a wooden desk, a black pen, and a yellow pad that means business. He listens more than he talks. Walk me through the timeline, he says, and I do. Dates, screenshots, Philly at 11:23 p.m., the 8 months where saved got louder than us. He nods, checks boxes. Property, accounts, health insurance, temporary orders. No drama, no promises of blood, just rights, options, next steps. He drafts while I breathe. Every sentence is a switchback in my hands. Service, discovery, separate finances, who keeps the house for now, how to keep outside parties from accidentally shaping the story. He pauses. You want scorched earth? I shake my head. Just the truth. On paper. He slides the pen across. I sign where the tabs tell me to. The signatures don't clap. They correct. He gives me copies. Clean, clipped, mine. You'll get pushback, he says. We'll answer with dates, not volume. We stand. Grip once, firm. I walk out lighter than when I walked in, not because I won, but because I stopped guessing. Out on the sidewalk, the air is bright and plain. I put the folder back under my arm and feel the old charge return. Agency, quiet, and legal. My phone buzzes as I reach the truck. New email. Mara Price. Subject line, thank you. Her email is short enough to fit on a screen without scrolling. Thank you. I don't know how long it would have gone on if you hadn't shown me. I kept gaslighting myself, telling myself I was insecure. You gave me the words and the dates. I'm not crazy. Mara. I read it twice. Once for meaning, once for the temperature. No fireworks, no rant. A nurse's chart, signed and closed. I typed back 5 words. We deserve better. Called her. Then I stop. No advice, no swapping pain like baseball cards. Clean lines matter. We share a thing now, not a secret, a boundary. She doesn't ask what I'll do next. I don't ask what she will. We both already did the hard part. We looked. I slide the phone face down and let the message sit in the room like a new rule. The city hums. Somewhere a siren passes, not for us. I make coffee in the chipped mug and stand at the window. There's a warmth in my chest that isn't triumph, recognition. 2 people in different kitchens, finally trusting their instruments. The inbox pings again. Promotions, noise, the usual tide. I leave it. There's more coming. There's always more, but the ground under me doesn't sway. For the first time in months, someone said thank you, and it didn't feel like a trick. It felt like a door that only opens one way, forward. It shows up in the afternoon mail, cream envelope, no return address, my name in round, careful handwriting that tries to look innocent. I open it with a thumb and slide out 3 pages. The first word that jumps is therapy, then childhood, then, near the bottom of page 2, maybe we could grab coffee and talk? The cadence is familiar, soft, absolving, a quilt of reasons sewn from old cloth. She writes about patterns and wounds and how she never meant to let it go that far, which is a sentence built like a lifeboat. She mentions growth. She mentions healing. She mentions the future with a question mark heavy enough to dent the page. I read it once, slow, and feel nothing shift. Not anger, not relief, just recognition. This is the ritual people perform when they've run out of edits for the past. They light a candle called closure and call it holy. I fold the pages together, line the corners, and carry them to the kitchen trash. No tearing, no speech. Drop. The sound is small and perfect. Refusal isn't rage, it's design. I rinse my hands at the sink and watch the water turn clear. The room feels larger by an inch. I pour coffee into the chipped mug and stand there while the quiet climbs back on the walls. I don't owe another scene. I owe myself an ending. Evening lands soft on the balcony. A cool breeze moves the cheap blinds. The AC hums in the background like a faithful, boring friend. The sun drags one last gold stripe across the table and fades to ordinary light. I sit in the old armchair with the chipped mug, steam lifting, and listen to this place breathe. No scented lie, no curated soundtrack, just the city far off and the buildings settling around me. I think about leases and lawyers, and the folder tucked under the bed like a tool I only need if something rattles. Mostly I think about space, how it returns in inches, not fireworks. The phone rests face down. It can live there a while. A car door thunks on the street. Someone laughs. A dog shakes its collar and the tags jingle twice. Things happen without me, and for the first time in months that feels right. I take a sip. Bitter fits. In the glass I can see part of myself and part of the sky. The words come simple, like something I knew as a kid and forgot on purpose. Home isn't a place. It's peace. I say it once, not to convince, but to mark the line. If I keep it, I get to keep me. The air moves over my face, steady as a promise, and I let the day end without asking it for anything more. I made it out by being quiet, not passive, precise. When the house smelled like lemon and lies, I kept my hands steady and let paper do what shouting never could. I walked the line from saved at breakfast to 11:23 p.m. in Philly, from a phone that breathed at midnight to a manila folder that breathed for me. I learned the trick of therapy speak, how words like healthy and toxic can be costumes, and I stopped letting costumes decide who I am. I apologized where it mattered, to myself, for doubting what I saw. Then I put the truth on a table and let it carry its own weight. No scenes. Quiet justice. I loved myself by leaving. Not slamming a door, just refusing to carry a story that kept rewriting me. I kept my name on the only things that count, my time, my peace, my dignity. I didn't torch the earth. I signed it. I answered noise with dates, not volume. I stopped being unhealthy on command and started being clear on purpose. Now the chipped mug warms my hands, the balcony trades me air for hurry, and the phone can lie face down without dragging me with it. I survive by silence. I honor by truth. I finish without violence. And I let the curtain fall without applause. Silence isn't weakness. It's the end of the performance.